Hello, and this is my review of the Škoda Octavia vRS Estate. The Octavia has been with us since 1996, and in that time span we've actually had 4 different versions of the car. This one is the 4th generation version, which was launched in 2020, and Škoda updated the car in 2024 with some new headlight designs and some different colour options. When Audi started releasing performance versions of their estate cars back in the early 2000s, they always looked a little bit stealthy and a little bit like they were flying under the radar. And for a certain type of person, that was exactly what they wanted. And it's not until you looked a little bit closer at the wheel arches, the alloys and the small badging little hints, did you realise how powerful that car really was. And while over the years, Audi have made their RS models a little bit more flamboyant and a little bit more obnoxious maybe, Škoda's always retained that kind of stealthy vibe. And this latest version of the VRS Estate is no different. So for example, this VRS Estate model adds quite a bit to the front end design. We've got the Škoda badge on the front end here, got some gloss black surround around this grille section. The grille itself is also gloss black with a built-in blanked off section for the radar, for the ADAS systems, the cruise control and other bits and pieces like that. The VRS badge is front and center, and that is the same color as the bodywork on the car, which makes it blend in a little bit more. There's also a gloss black section at the bottom and a diamond pattern for the grille. These LED headlights are super impressive. They light up the road really well at night time. They've got built-in adaptive high beam support, but also a matrix LED system which blanks off part of the road, which lets you light up the verge, for example, but not blind oncoming traffic. And there's also some headlight washers as well. This exact one I've got on test is actually the VRS Estate, and it's got a 2-litre petrol engine with 265 brake horsepower. The Octavia VRS used to come with a diesel option, but that is no longer available. There are some small practicality elements built into every Škoda. This one has a rubber funnel for the washer fluid, and that helps avoid splashback. Before we go any further, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the Interface Cars YouTube channel. There's lots of content coming on a regular basis. New car reviews like this one, infotainment walkthroughs and EV charging guides. Thank you. For the alloys, Škoda only offer this one alloy wheel option, and it's these. They're 19 inches in size and they're called Elias Anthracite Grey. Let me know what you think about the design in the comments down below. They're a bit different to what the company used to offer on older VRS models. For instance, we do now have these aero plastic sections built in, which do look a little bit strange, but they do work quite well. And then we still also do retain those red brake calipers from the old VRS models. There are quite a few different trim levels and different price points for the Octavia Estate in the UK. The SE technology is the entry-level trim, and that is £28,825, and the VRS, which is the very top of the tree model, starts at £41,070, again for the Estate version. This particular car I've got on test is actually £42,775. There are quite a few options on this vehicle, one of which is this quite nice paint, which is £410. Now, it wouldn't really be a Škoda without those simply clever accessories. This particular VRS Estate comes with 2 umbrellas, so one in the passenger side and one in the driver's side. We've also got the ice scraper built into the fuel filler cap. We've got this handy dandy bin with a bin liner in the driver's side door pocket. And we've got this removable phone and coin holder built into one of the cup holders. You can put a phone in there, but it does also come out if you need it to as well. For the front interior, there's a really good sense of quality in here, and everything has been laid out in a really easy to use fashion. One of the things I like about this interior is you get this real big sense of being quite cocooned in the cabin. So you can sit really low down, and I've got this seat set up in my comfortable position, but you can have it even lower on the floor if you want to. And everything is quite high up, and you just feel nicely cocooned in here. So for example, this dash is actually quite high in this section here, but you can still see over the bonnet absolutely no problem. So there's no visibility trade-offs with that at all. This particular one doesn't come with a sunroof, but you can spec it for about £1,600. And that is a fully opening sunroof, which covers basically the entire length of the car. I quite like the fact this doesn't have that, because it can let in quite a bit of heat sometimes, but also it helps aid to the sporty feeling of this car. So on the dash itself, we have got a good sense of quality here, and everything is quite a nice material choice really. So this isn't hard plastic, it is a fairly solid rubber feeling material, and that is quite nice on there. On the dash itself, we have got this sort of fabric-y material with some red stitching. Again, that's quite nice. And that does extend the entire width of the cabin, all behind the screen here and on this section over here. Quite like that as well. There is some red ambient lighting underneath this black section here, much like the Up GTI. And then this section here is probably designed to look like carbon fibre, but it doesn't really. It is just plastic. That's quite a nice little touch, helps break it up a little bit. There is some pretty standard hard plastic down here. That's kind of expected now on cars, so the lower material is all quite scratchy, but it does feel quite good quality, not overly scratchy. It is quite a rubbery soft material there, so that's all quite good. And the seats themselves aren't leather at all, they are cloth. So there are black cloth on here and some red accenting on the side and some pretty nice VRS logos embroidered into the seat back. Quite a good quality item really. The steering wheel itself is fully leather with some sort of dotted material on the side. We've got a good amount of physical buttons in this car. So on the steering wheel itself, no haptic controls like other VW Group products. We've got some physical buttons in here for the volume, controlling this driver's display here. Also some paddles behind here to change the gears when you're in the manual mode. And then we have got some stalks here. So for the indicators themselves, we've got the wipers. And then down here, we've got a pretty old school sort of stalk here for the adaptive cruise control. You can pull it towards you to turn it on, push it away from you to turn it off, and there are some dials in here to adjust the distance and the speed. All really easy to use. On the driver's side here, we've got 3 buttons for controlling the lights, so no sort of haptic controls like other VW products. We've got some button here to control the headlights themselves, so automatic lights and the side lights, and then some front fog lights and rear fog lights, although Škoda do call the front fog lights poor weather lights. And then down here we've got a pretty decent sized door bin, and this one does come with a bin, which is quite good to see, and a little bin liner in there too. We've got a pull button here for the rear tailgate, and then some pretty, again, old school controls for the doors and the windows. So we've got a dial here to control the mirrors themselves, so you can fold them in if you want to, and then you can do the windows as well, and then also lock the rear windows from children controlling them and doing stupid stuff. In the central section, we've got the main infotainment screen, which is 13 inches in size. Really good amount of controls here, really easy to use and quite fluid. Got wireless Apple CarPlay, a DAB radio, and also in here we've got a LoRa voice assistant, and all the air conditioning system is on the screen here, so there's very little controls physically for the climate control, but really in my time testing this vehicle that hasn't been too much of a problem. There's also unfortunately one sliding control here, and that is for the volume, but you can also control the volume from this touch button up here and on the steering wheel as well. There are some buttons here for controlling certain shortcuts like locking the doors, the hazard warning lights, climate control, max defrost on the windscreen, also the rear windscreen, parking features, the driving modes, and setting certain things like the start-stop system, the traction control, and some interior monitoring options. Up here we've got the SOS button, the touch button lights here, and a very generous sized sunglasses holder at the very top there, and some microphones as well. In this central section we've got the gear selector, so you've got park, reverse, neutral, drive and sport sport, as you'll find out in the driving section, just holds those gears a little bit longer to make the driving experience that bit more involving. There's a wireless phone charging pad and 2 USB-C ports. Behind this cover here we have got 2 decent sized cup holders, and this particular Škoda does come with a extra cover here, so what you can do is put a phone in there, and that you see, put your phone somewhere safe, and it's got 2 coin holders. And if we remove the phone holder there, we have got a cover here to hide things away. There's also a small little holder for the key, electronic parking brake, and an auto hold button. And underneath this armrest here, there's a pretty good sized central bin here, but this armrest is quite good. It does adjust its height, so you just pull up slowly and that will get different height options. And there are 3 different options. So you've got this armrest here, the default setting, and then a mid section as well, all quite easy to use. There's also this pretty good sized glove box, so Škoda have actually moved the fuse box to the right hand side of the car, meaning you do end up with a properly sized glove box, and that's got a manual in here in a cardboard box. It is all felt lined, and a pen holder too. The space in the back of the Octavia is actually pretty decent really. So I've got the driver's seat set up in my driving position, and I'm around 5'7" in height. What I'm quite impressed with is the amount of space underneath the driver's seat. I've got this seat set up nearly at its lowest position, and the amount of space underneath that seat is actually quite impressive. Got loads and loads of room to move my feet around, and I've got a decent amount of leg room and a good amount of headroom too. These rear seats are the same material as the front seats. We've got this nice squidgy cloth with some red accents in the middle, loads and loads of red stitching, and it's all really good quality and quite practical. It's actually quite well done. In the middle here, we've got this strange accessory which I've seen on other Škodas before, and it sort of clips into place, and it gives you 2 cup holders. So they're sort of made out of rubber, and they just fold away if you don't need them. Bit of space there for a phone, and also 2 USB-C ports and some air vents as well. In this section here, we have got a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders. So that means in total in the back, we actually have 4 cup holders, which is quite impressive. This whole section here does fold out to become a ski hatch, so you can load bits of wood through, and the Octavia is actually quite large. You could put bits of wood through there or anything else you want to carry. The door cards themselves are good quality, same material as the front seats. Got some nicely sculpted door handles there. And the door bins, much like the front, are fully lined in cloth. Really nice little touch there, which I quite appreciate. Got some window switches and some interesting design for the speakers. Now you'll notice on this side we do have an iPad holder that's been installed in the back of the seat rest. This can hold any sort of size tablet really. That does extend out and keeps the kids entertained in the back. And you can add another one in this side if you want to. In the roof we have got 2 LED lights which are touch activated and some grab handles on these sides. The rear design is pretty simple, but it just works really, really well. And I think Škoda have done quite a nice job with the design, really. We've got the Škoda badge on the back of the tailgate here, finished in black gloss. Also in black gloss is the Octavia model logo as well. And on this side is the rather small VRS badge, keeping things stealthy. We've got the reversing camera up here, and that camera is really, really good quality actually. And there are 3 different modes. You can have a fisheye lens, you can have one that's focused on the tow bar, and you can have one that's just a normal wide lens. Some really good options there. We've got a tinted rear windscreen here, and a rear wiper, and a fairly decent spoiler at the top. Down the bottom, there's a bit of black gloss plastic, and 2 rather large exhaust tips. Now those are kind of for show only really, because if you look inside, there is just normal standard small exhaust, but it does look quite nice really. If we open up the tailgate, which is done very quickly and very quietly actually. A lot of tailgate systems do beep a lot. It can get a bit irritating, but that is really fast and quite quiet. Now the main thing that the Octavia is known for is boot space, and this has tons of it. We've got 640 litres with the seats up, and if you fold those seats down, that extends to a whopping 1,700 litres. Just super impressive. Now, Škodas are known for their practicality and sensibleness, and in the back here there's loads of that going on. So this load cover here is really easy to use and very solid feeling. Just push that down, it folds away, pull it towards you, clicks in place so nicely, and that's really, really good quality. On this side here, we've got a button to release the tow bar. We've got a handle here to fold down the rear seats. And we've got loads of these little clips everywhere. So you can clip in everything you need to quite easily. And there's also a little 12-volt socket here as well, and another clip this side. On the left-hand side is yet more clips, more tie-down points, larger clips all over the place, and another handle to fold down that side of the rear seats. Now, because this is an estate car, the boot is obviously a bit further back past the rear wheels, so there's actually some storage on either side behind the wheel arches. A load of storage on this side, a load of storage on this side, and this one has got some netting which you can use to clip down everything if you want to. More tie-down points at the back there. On the boot floor itself, we've got a rubber mat here, branded with Octavia branding, and then underneath there is a bit of carpet, and underneath the carpet is the spare wheel itself. This one is a space saver, it would be perfectly fine. And we've got some accessories, so some spare number plates for towing, a jack, some other bits and pieces, and some dividers for the boot. So it comes with 2 of these, and if you haven't got the rubber floor in place, what you can do is pop this on the floor, and it'll stop things from moving around like milk or wine or something. So that's quite handy there, and that can be stowed nicely and tidily in the boot itself. So just pop that in there. All pretty standard really. Now if you pull these handles, It folds these seats down really nice and quickly, and as I mentioned, you do have 1700 litres of boot space. Now in terms of handling, the Octavia vRS is actually quite impressive, which you would kind of expect it to be considering it's the most sporty version of the Octavia. It just handles really, really well, and it just feels like a sports estate, which it kind of is really. The ride also is quite comfortable considering this is a sporty car, and I think it's been set up in quite a nice way, and it just feels really usable day to day. The alloys also aren't overly massive, they're only 19 inches, and the road noise at motorway speeds isn't too bad at all either. Obviously it could be a little bit quieter, but this isn't a luxury car really, it is just a everyday estate car that happens to have nearly 300 brake horsepower. Now we actually have a fair amount of grunt on this car. We've got 261 brake horsepower from a 2-litre petrol engine at the front, and it drives the front wheels only. The Octavia vRS used to be available with a 4-wheel drive system and also a diesel, but both of those options are no longer available, so it is petrol only for now. 0 to 60 is also quite impressive considering the size and practicality of the car. It handles it in around 6.5 seconds with a 155 mile/h top speed. So there are some different driving modes available. We've got Eco, Normal, Sport and Individual, and that is for the sort of handling setup on the car really. So let's kick the car into Sport, and we've also got the gearbox in Sport mode as well, and that holds the gears a bit longer, so I'm in third right now. If I completely gun it, it changes down quite aggressively to second, and we get up to speed quite quickly. And the exhaust note as well, even though it's just like a normal 2-litre really, it just sounds really, really nice and grunty. It just sounds like it's got a lot of personality and a lot going on. Again, we've got about 260 horsepower, so it's not a mind-bogglingly huge amount, but this car handles so well. Really, the handling is just incredible for an estate car. Really, really, really impressive actually. Not much body roll, handles itself really well, turn-in's really good, get a bit of lean there, and the bolstering is doing a good job of holding me in the car. It is very, very impressive in terms of handling. Very good fun. We've got a 7-speed DSG, so VW Group are well known for their DSG gearboxes, so it does all work really well. It's all very smooth. Sometimes when you are accelerating, the down change can be a bit aggressive, can jolt you around a little bit, but once you put the car back into D mode out of S mode, we've still got the handling in Sport mode. It just becomes like a normal Octavia, very calm, very organised, and just very nice to drive. Now obviously estate cars are pretty good at being quite visible and quite easy to see out of. There's a lot of glass in here. We've got the rear section at the back, and we've also got a pretty large rear window as well, and you can just see everything that's going on outside, and it does make for a nice driving experience. Now lastly, I just want to mention the efficiency. Obviously it's a 2-litre estate car with 260 horsepower. It's not going to be the most efficient car in the world. Now Škoda quote 39.8 to 40.4 mpg. Now I haven't seen that quite a high mpg in my testing this week. I've done 7 hours 42 of driving, 184 miles of distance covered, and I've achieved 33.6 mpg. On one particular run I did see 35 mpg when I was being quite efficient and in eco mode, but you will have to drive quite carefully to get good MPG out of this car. It's not going to be something that's going to be massively efficient compared to the standard petrol versions of this car. So what are my final thoughts on the Škoda Octavia vRS Estate for 2025? Well, I love the exterior design. It looks really, really timeless. I don't think it will age particularly quickly at all, really. It's got a really nice design. There's not too much shiny black plastic, I think. And for a performance car, it is quite stealthy. The interior is also really, really good quality. The VRS design, the red stitching, all works together really, really well. And this thing drives exceptionally well. And that boot is absolutely massive. The only little sticking point for me is the fuel economy. I've only been seeing around 35 mpg. I know Škoda themselves do quote around 40 mpg, so the fuel economy could be a tad better. But it is a performance estate car at the end of the day with a sizable amount of power. However, I'd love to know what you think about the Škoda Octavia vRS for 2025. Let me know in the comments down below. I've been Alex, and I'll see you again next time.